Welcome to another episode of Transform Perspective with Kyra Weathersby. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I really appreciate the love and the support, and I send it back, and I hope that you are having an amazing day. Just a quick little reminder before I get into this topic. It's related to the topic, but this reminder is that you are loved and supported no matter what. Even if you don't see it, even if you don't feel it, and even if you don't recognize it. That reminder right there has been what's kept me in a space of gratitude in recent days. Now, personally, I have often found so many things to complain about, unsatisfied with the present, um, always looking at what I don't have, and kind of like this lack mentality. And that is changing to a more abundant mentality, but it starts with gratitude and knowing that you're supported and you're loved no matter what. There's so much pressure when you feel like you're going to mess up or you're going to make a mistake or you're not good enough, and that's the root of that mindset is this belief and this idea that you're not good enough and that what you do and what you accomplish makes you lovable. This idea that love is earned rather than something that is given to you or your birthright, something that is always available for you no matter what. And something that has helped me realize this is nature. Just going outside, being in nature, and being able to look at my surroundings and see that I'm literally not alone. Just because you're not around other human beings doesn't mean that you're ever alone. You are surrounded by so much love and so much support. And I started to recognize this with the trees because I'm like, okay, well, it's fall right now and I love fall. That is my favorite season. The leaves are falling, the trees are orange and red and yellow and all these beautiful colors. And it just looks so amazing outside. And it got me thinking that, we breathe all the time and trees give us oxygen and we give it carbon dioxide, CO2, and we work together as a team. Like we are experiencing life in this world together. As humans, we are doing this collectively, but also with nature, also with Mother Earth and this planet. It literally holds us up. No matter what, we are being held up by the planet. Now, you may see it as just a huge rock, and we may not even, think twice about it, but we're being held up by this earth, by this planet, by Mother Nature that is always loving and supporting us, whether it's oxygen from the trees, whether it's food, fruit and vegetables that grow from nature, whether it's the sun shining on us, the moon, like we are supported in so many ways that are often taken for granted. I said, often taken for granted. There we go. I said take it for granted. Yeah, and even the simplest things, like it can seem so corny to some people. It may seem very corny, just this whole topic, and we're surrounded by love and nature, but it's true. It is so true. We make so many excuses as to why things are horrible, as to why we're struggling and going through it, and we experience that, and we have things that are horrific that happen to us that are out of our control. And yes, we struggle, but there's also many beautiful things as well. And it's all about learning to find that balance. And even in the simplest things, you can see the positive, the love, the support. And so that's kind of just my example of how nature has showed me that. And it's not to say that, everything's positive, all hunky dory, that we don't go through stuff. We don't experience darkness, that we don't have darkness within us. It's yes, we have both aspects of positive, negative, dark, light, and it can be hectic, especially when there's this imbalance. So yeah, it's a lot, but if you are seeking to have more of an abundant mindset and just, see the love and support outside of you, you can, even within yourself. Because as within, so without, everything outside of you is a reflection. But it got me thinking how things have been imbalanced for so long, how there's so much pollution and how we litter and how we kind of disregard nature in so many ways, including the animals and in the ocean. Is like it could be so heavy, so dark, and so negative. And there's also this other side that is so much light and positive and loving because we're doing this together. And I think when you really take that into consideration, you will be in this space of gratitude, knowing that humans, we're not the only ones that I see a squirrel right now. Humans were not the only ones that are experiencing life on this planet, going through things. Like, I mean, we're surrounded by nature and animals, and like we're not the only ones, you know? And I think a lot of times we can have this mindset where it's like we feel like we're so mighty and high and so important, or the opposite, you know, you're not enough or nobody cares for you, and it's still this, what am I trying to say? This, both of them have like a common denominator or this common thing of me, and kind of being in your head of it's all about me. But then I realized when I'm taking into consideration that I'm surrounded by nature, I'm surrounded by love and support, I realized, okay, I'm not alone. Like, you're not the only person going through these cycles and these changes. Nature, we see all around us that there's constant cycles and changes and ups and downs, and we're doing it together. Literally, you see with the seasons changing, you can look at a tree, and with all the seasons, you can see how it's changing, and you are as well. So we are expanding together, transforming together, evolving together. And it has really transformed my perspective by looking at it this way and by taking that into consideration, and not being so self-absorbed, you know? We're not here to just fix ourselves and put ourselves down, but if you do recognize yourself kind of being all about you, it can help by just looking around. Looking around and seeing that you're loved and supported. The sun does not just shine on certain people, you know, with a certain amount of money or a certain look, or, you know, only the people who have never made a mistake, or, you know, the sun shines on everyone and everything. Same thing with the moon. It is an example of unconditional love. So we have examples. We have examples from human beings who have walked this earth and embodied that unconditional love, you know, embody this divinity that we all have. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a potential for all of us. Um, yeah, and it's just amazing to see that it's all around you. So if you ever lose sight of that, just look around. Literally go outside, get in nature, and know that you're being provided with all you need. And sometimes we just have to step back and look at that. And sometimes you need to start simple, like with the trees or with the sun and with the moon, and, you know, because we're all in this together, like they said in High School Musical. And you're not actually alone. I think we can feel like we're the only people out here, but I kind of look at it this way. If you ever watch Horton Hears a Who, there's a part in the movie, I think it's the end or the beginning. It's either at the very beginning or the very end in the movie where it kind of zooms out and zooms in. I think it's both. And it's this big field of flowers. And we see that, you know, Horton Hears a Who takes place on this little bitty speck of one flower in a field of flowers. So it's like, yeah, in the movie, from the movie's perspective, not from the movie's perspective. What am I trying to say? From the character's perspective in the movie, it's like, yeah, they have their own little village and they have their own, you know, space that they're all living in together. And it seems like, oh, it's just them. But when it zooms out or when it zooms in, y'all got to go watch the movie to like check this, because I don't remember if it was zooming out or zooming in. Not going to get technical. But you see that they're in a field of flowers, and they're literally just like a speck of one flower. They're not even one flower. Where they were living, where the movie took place, was a speck of one flower. And that's how it is here. And that's how I view it. It's like we are a little bitty dust speck on one flower in a field of flowers. So to think that we're the only ones, or that we're better, or that there's nothing else out there and it's just us, is I don't know. It's very far-fetched because it's like, let's be for real. We're not the only ones. Okay. And whether we want to get into extraterrestrials or aliens, like not, going into all that, but anything is possible. And we are definitely not the only ones. We are like holding here's a hoop on a little speck of a flower. So with that being said, you are never alone and you're not the only person going through what you're going through. And I've said this many times before that we're doing this together. And that has helped me just have more gratitude in my life. It really opened my heart to see that I am loved and supported. And not loved and support, loved and supported. And if the trees can love me unconditionally, I can do the same. I can love me unconditionally and I can learn to do so for others and for the planet and for the animals, and we can learn to do so together because we have examples around us all the time. If the sun can shine on everybody, no matter what, 24/7, then why can't I shine my light, or hold a space of love unconditionally? A lot of times we get in this space where it's like, I'm only going to love you if, you do this for me, or if you act a certain way, or if you live a certain way. Unconditional love has no condition. And sometimes the mind cannot wrap itself around that knowing and that truth that unconditional love can exist. If nature, if the sun, if the trees, and even like animals too, like your dog included or cat or whatever, if they, were conditionally loving us like we do each other and like we do to the planet and animals and stuff, if they were doing that, then the sun, like I said, would only shine on certain people, or it wouldn't come up certain days because of something that we did wrong, or, that's not how it works. The trees don't just stop giving us oxygen because it's mad at us. You cut me down, you cut this forest of trees down, I'm just gonna stop giving you oxygen. Well, you're not gonna have oxygen. I said oxygen. Child, please excuse my words today, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. Nature does not have limits for its love, its support, and its care. It just exists with us and we work together, but we haven't really worked together in a balanced, harmonious way. I feel like we're getting to that place at some point and sometime we will, but it's beautiful, but also sad. But yeah, it's helped me a lot with gratitude. So if you can't think of anything to be grateful for, be grateful for the nature, be grateful, that you are loved and supported. And you may not see it and it may sound weird and it's just okay, whatever. You're positive, you're just trying to, be in this positive vibe. Yeah, despite what, your ego may not be able to receive and take in, it's still there. And it's always available even when you don't see it. And I'm like, that is so fantastic. And that's actually like a lot to take in. But if you are struggling to just find gratitude and see that love and support, start small. Start small. Start with nature. And I feel like as you recognize the smallest things, that love and that support will begin to get bigger and bigger from your perception, even though it's always been there. That love, that support, that care, that protection has always been there, but it's a matter of perspective. So yeah, that's all I want to say. That's my reminder for today, is that you are loved, supported unconditionally. No matter what, we are surrounded by nature. We are surrounded by animals, people. Like even we hold unconditional love. It's there. It's within all of us, and it's a beautiful thing. So we're in this together, and yeah, you are loved unconditionally. If you forget that, that's okay. It's still available for you. So thank you so much for tuning in to Transform Perspective. I really appreciate it. I wasn't really going to do this episode because I felt like, should I even talk about this? But I like talking about all the different things that have helped me change my perspective and become more aware. It is not just to focus only on self-awareness and awareness and awareness. Like what needs to be revealed to you will be revealed to you in due timing when it's meant for you. Excuse that, which is different for every person, but it's just like when you become aware of it, it just changes your life and it changes you because we are evolving. And once you become aware of that, and once your perspective has changed in the many different ways that it can be, you can grow, you can learn, and you can begin to take action and live in a way and be the person that you're meant to be. So, yeah, that's the purpose of this podcast and this channel, just throwing that out there. And I feel like anybody can relate because you exist and you're here. So, you're going to be evolving. You're going to be going through changes, becoming more aware or not aware, so on and so forth. But before I go, remember that there is a free 15-minute guided meditation. It will be in the description below. It is in every description of my YouTube videos, but that is available. Definitely check it out. So, you can have access to something that'll help you relax and unwind. 15 minutes, guided. Check it out. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment below, what you think about this topic. What do you think about being surrounded by unconditional love, about nature, about the whole, topic of it? And what was your favorite part of this video, of this discussion? Because I know it's on the podcast, so it's not a video for everybody. Anyways, remember, it's not about perfection, but committing to expansion. Have a transformed perspective.